I would like to invite Professor Banerjee to take up the Q&A session.
So I could see a few questions over here. So I will start from the beginning. I don't know whether I will be able to answer all of these, but in case I am unable to do that, you are welcome to send me an email. I mean, I hope we will meet sometime somewhere, and then we can discuss that as well. Okay. First one is from an anonymous attendee. Okay, I am really curious about how we could increase the crystallinity of icon guanidinium guanidinium cough. Any insight would be wonderful. Okay, so if you want to, so these kind of cases, these are covalent organic nanosheets. So technically, it is challenging for all of us to increase the crystallinity because this is after all a sheet, right? If you increase the crystallinity, then it won't be a sheet and it will become a film. So that is a bit challenging, but what I could probably say is that if you can stack a few sheets, not too many, probably you can increase the crystallinity. And that exactly how you will do that has to need to be a little bit of trial and error. I need to also think over it a little bit and get back to you, because we never wanted to make that crystalline. We always wanted to make it non-crystalline, and it is thin sheets. Okay, excuse me. Can we make use of hollow space for incorporation of drug for the drug delivery? I do not know. We did try it. I am not good in the drug delivery. I'm not a good biologist. That time I couldn't collaborate much as well. Yes, maybe you could. Just take a look at it. During the drug delivery, you have to keep it in mind about the toxicity of the amine. That I would only ask you to take a look at it. Otherwise, yes, you can. Of course, I don't see why you can't. Most certainly you can. How can we distinguish a cough from a porous conjugated polymer? Very good question. Very simple. You have to have a design in the cough synthesis, and you have to have a crystallinity. That is the most important part of it. Unless you have a high crystallinity, these are like crystals. Each of these particles, as you can see, they are like crystals. Okay, they are so tiny we can't do single crystal. So that's why we have to rely on powder diffraction, but they are crystals. So that you will generally won't see a porous polymer, which otherwise are also very, very good quality material. I have been also working with porous polymer for some time, and I have seen lots of beautiful properties on a porous polymer that have popped up. Another issue is, while synthesizing the icon, it gives different contrast of brown color with every batch I am synthesizing. Okay, I will. You may kindly send me an email, then I'll try my best to help you on this note. How did you isolate the thin films? Just fish it. So what you do is, once the thin film is synthesized is over, what you do is you use a dropper, take out the top layer, which is water basically. So take out the top layer as much as possible. Then take a simple, let's say a net, and just dip it and fish the film off. That's it. It's a large film. Even if some part is broken, still the center or a decent zone will be good for you. And you put it into water. They are very water stable, and they will remain like this forever, as long as you want. Okay, Krishna, are there any prerequisites that is necessary during the selection of the monomer ligands that form the cough to obtain a charged flexible membrane? I do not know. Yeah, probably you should have a pyridinium complex or something like that. Probably you should have it. But I do not know that if there is a prerequisite for as such, because if you want to have a charge complex, there has to be a charge separation. Or even if you want to have a conducting material, there has to be electron hole separation as well. So I do not exactly know if there is any prerequisite as such, but if you can make something like that, I will be more than happy, Krishna, to talk to you. I am also very interested on this topic as well. Is the kind of solvent important for the formation of cough? Yes, it is. We generally use a mixture which is sort of like a oil water. What is that? If you have a oil and water, you can always see there is immiscible. So if your compounds are in water, in oil, the water will not be able to come in contact with it because it's protected by the water. But eventually, when it is on the surface, then there will be some interaction with the water. So yes, there is a choice of the solvent. You can use a solvent which is hydrophobic and hydrophilic, a combination of that. Let's say DCM water like we did, or dioxane dichlorobenzene, ortho dichlorobenzene, something like that. So you could use these combinations in general, but always use one hydrophobic and one hydrophilic solvent combination while making the covalent organic film. What is the driving force? What is the driving force for arranging the nice order? Okay, the driving force is pi stacking, nothing more than that. Pi stacking, that gives you this this nice order. That's pretty much it is, nothing more. At least that's what I have figured out so far. Okay, Akhtar, what's the difference between, I have already answered this question, why we need to go for the hectic process of converting covalent organic framework into film rather than using simple porous polymers which has a good film forming property? You are most certainly welcome to do that. That is a very good process. The reason we are trying to make these films, because if it has a structure and order, so that you could, like we showed, that this kind of nanoparticle separation you could do with this kind of films. We have a long way to go. Polymeric films are almost 50 years old. These materials are hardly 10 years old. So we have a long way to go. But yes, right now we don't have a alternative for the polymer on those note. But hopefully, maybe 5 years down the line, if we work really hard, we should be able to get some answer to this kind of question. Could you, Dr. Joshi, okay, could you elaborate on preparation on bulk scale cough film pellets? How much quantity could your lab prepare until now? Okay, at NCL for methane with the GALE process, they could make about a kg, 1 kilogram. That is not much, but we started this project with a milligram. I mean, in 2011-12. Now, in 10 years, we could make a kilogram. I mean, I would consider this as a big achievement. And they have been making with the GALE, but that is only a very limited number of covalent organic frameworks. You can generally make it in the gram scale. That is not that much a problem. 10 gram, yes, you have to put some effort, of course, and some amount of consumable you have to spare. Are these films used for extraction of pollutant from contaminated soils? No, I have not done it. We have only stuck to water so far, not with the soils. So that I won't be able to answer to this question, but I will keep it in mind and give it a shot if I can. Is there any drawback to using cough for carbon dioxide adsorption? I can't figure out any. Only thing is that they are not very good carbon dioxide adsorbents at 1 atmosphere pressure. That's what you want. When the carbon dioxide is coming out from these chimneys and other things, the pressure is not more than, I mean, maybe 1.5. That's it. So you need to pull up the CO2 from that, outlet. So, so the problem with the cough material is they are unable to pull up or isolate the carbon dioxide when the concentration of carbon dioxide is very low. Also, is there any specific lifetime for using this material in such pipes? We have not used it for the pipes, but that was a motivation. Yes, if you put it right now, it will just go maybe, I don't know, 5-10 rounds. I don't think it will go more than that. It will slowly degrade. So you have to develop these materials. Initially, we couldn't even do 1 round. Now we could go about, let's say, about 10 rounds, but we have to go probably 1,000 rounds. So that's a long way to go on that. Experimentally, how can one take care of defects in coughs? That you have to do a much more slower crystallization. Even then, there will be some defects. You cannot completely bypass that problem, because these are, after all, 2-dimensional polymers, so you cannot completely bypass that problem. Is this material will be used in drug delivery? As I said, I have not worked in drug delivery, but if you wish, you are welcome to try that out. I am not reading everybody's name because probably then that way I can save some time. On slide 54, what does diagram versus signifies? So this is basically the basically the adsorption of the dye molecules into this. Let me check the slide 50. Slide 54, I see only the covalent organic frameworks and covalent organic frameworks thin films pictures. Maybe diagram V signifies maybe the second one, and the next one is the mechanism where you have 2 theta versus intensity for the PXRD pattern. Okay, then goes to the next question. What is the strength of the membrane in thin film as well as in the thick scale? Okay, that is a very good question. We have now quantified these a recent paper where we could found out that based on the crystallization, these changes from, let's say, gigapascal to megapascal. So some cases it is very spongy, you just penetrate it, and some cases it is pretty thick in terms of polymer. Please keep it in mind. These are not diamonds or graphite. These are just polymeric material. So they will be soft. But even then, some cases we could find out that these materials do have a decent amount of strength. I'm talking about the nano indentation or mechanical strength of these materials. Please take a look at the paper. It is in JSS, and last month, I mean, it is still in probably ASAP or just I picked up the page number. Okay, dear sir, it is the phenomena happening at interface selected for specific linkers that you have used, or you could generalize? We found out that in general, it covers a broad range of linkers. In general, a broad range of linkers, but not always you will get a continuous film. Continuous in this sense, I'm talking about a continuous in terms of centimeter scale. Not always you will get that. Sometimes you will get some fragments. Sometimes you will get some broken, fractured films as well. Okay, that you have to keep it in mind. The ones I presented, we could got the best result. So I thought that that will be the better way to present to you. Could any of these COPs be used in heavy metal separation? People have already done that. You may kindly take a look some of the literature. People have only they have used our materials for the heavy metal separation. Apart from pore sizes, we have not done it, by the way. Apart from pore size of COPs, would the functional groups on the COPs be affecting the molecular separation? Yes, possible. There could be an interaction. But if the functional groups would have played a role, this PEG, there we could have seen a difference. So that I do not really know. There is a possibility, but I believe that the overall, the final cutoff will happen based on the pore size only, not due to absorption, not due to for any functionality. Functionality can change the pore size, of course, but eventually the final cutoff will happen due to the pore size, change as well. Are these thin films transparent? No, they are not. They are not transparent. My question, I wonder if the MOF can also be filter similar. People have used MOF for the, I mean, they have done much more elaborate work on MOF. So I wonder if the MOF can also be used as filters similar to COF. Okay. People, I mean, the answer is yes, people have used it. They have coated the MOF on top of a polymer membrane, and they used it for a size selective separation. It has been done. How much these COPs is effective in carbon capture technology, I do not know. We probably believe that these COPs will be better for a carbon conversion into value-added product rather than capture. So you can flow the carbon through it. These are porous materials. They will have some catalytic sites. There will be interaction, and then you will get a value-added product out of it, methanol, methane, or even if I dare say ethane. Have you checked the clogging phenomena through the COF membrane? No, we have not. We have used about, every time we used maybe after 2 or 3 rounds, we did a backflash because probably the surface is getting absorbed and that is doing the clogging. But we have not quantified that. We have just simply do a backflash and that we have done. In terms of separation, we did it few liters. Okay, and second question was how much volume per area of membrane can be efficiently filtered? So for a 2 centimeter coupon, we could do for 1 liter solvent. So 1 liter with almost a 1 molar solution. So that was our objective. Our objective was to see whether it can separate or not. And then further quantifications, if you should you wish, I will be more than happy to share the data, and we can definitely, these are all available also in supplementary. You may kindly take a look at that as well, but I will be more than happy to discuss. Okay, where from a researcher starts her research in the field of coughs if he or she is new to the research field. Okay, Jahangir. Okay, well, if I'm dare saying that you try to make a conducting material out of it, if you can. I have been trying. So far, I am not successful. Point number one. Point number two, you try to find a methodology where you can grow single crystals out of it. There are few reports, but not overwhelming one. If you could find a protocol which is as simple as that, that will be wonderful. That will be a breakthrough. We will have a lot of issues sorted: pore size, distribution, this, that, if we have single crystals of these materials. So these are the two problems that I would request you to think about. How do you differentiate 2D polymers and the cough? Because of their crystallinity. 2D polymers are crystalline in nature, not crystalline in nature. They are, after all, a polymer. They are long chain materials. These materials, on the other hand, do have a preferred stacking. You could get a Bragg's deflection. 2D polymers, you will not get a Bragg's deflection, or even if you do, it will be very haphazard. Most likely you won't. Here you will get a Bragg's deflection. That means the D spacing is aligned. You could see n lambda equals to 2D sine theta. I mean, those who are into this crystallography. So you will, if you get a Bragg's deflection, that means the planes or the D spacing, there is the D spacing. And if there is a D spacing, then obviously these materials will be different. And that is the D spacing, or that is the channel that we are trying to utilize for this separation that I have talked about. Okay, another question. What could be, from my good friend Manav, what could be the minimum and maximum pore size for such coughs? The minimum and maximum pore size for such coughs would be, if I recall properly, would be about 1 nanometer or maybe half a nanometer. And maximum in general, what I have seen is at about 3 nanometer. That's I have seen. People have made 5 nanometer pore wide cough, but difficult to crystallize this type of materials. Difficult to handle also, because you are eventually crystallizing only vacuum surface. So I will be little bit hesitant to go beyond 3 unless I figure out a way to crystallize it. Okay. What about the cough synthesis without heteroatoms, only with CC bonds? Yes, that has been also attempted. There are a few papers as well. You can make coughs with CC bond, but that's a bit tricky because you have then going to a domain of irreversible reaction. You have to be very, very careful setting up the reaction conditions so that you get a crystallinity of these materials. For catalysis point of view, which is better, porous polymeric material or cough? I think coughs will be better. Their durability could be a question, but I think coughs will be better than porous polymer, because porous polymer will have some issues of swelling and other things which you can probably avoid in cough. But for that, we need to do a detailed research about it. How could we make big stacking layer of coughs, especially in TPPA layer? Which one is more important, concentration of TPPA monomers or time of synthesis? The concentration is equivalent. The aldehyde and the amine, the concentration is equivalent. I would say concentration is equivalent. Okay. Do you try to synthesize cough film on Langmuir-Brocklet? No. Yes, we tried. We couldn't do it. You may try it. At least we couldn't do that. I'm not a very good Langmuir-Brocklet person, so you may try it. I couldn't. We couldn't get it. We did some restacking of the films, layers, but that that didn't work out as a film. 3D COFs I have never. How about the stability of 3D COFs? I have not worked on 3D COFs yet. We couldn't make 3D COFs. I did a little bit of work with industry, but which I refrained from discussing about it. How to get a single crystal of COF? It's not easy. Trust me. We have been trying for quite some time. I would really be interested to discuss this problem with you. It's not easy. My postdoc supervisor, Professor Yagi, has synthesized single crystals of covalent organic frameworks. You may kindly check his science paper as well. Okay, I think I will probably close now. I hope I have answered a decent number of questions. In case I missed any questions and I couldn't answer your question, you could send me an email. I will try my best to answer from my end.